But Joey Jacobs is pretty charming. He's a pretty charismatic guy. A lot of people want to sell to him because just the way he carries himself. He carries himself like your uncle, like your cool uncle. I don't know. Mm-hmm. He's very charming that way. And the way he asks for, hey,
okay,
I want your facility. Yeah, because then you'll have these, you'll have people who have more, have ego, right? They can just kind of display this a little bit more of a, I don't know, like ego, kind of like aura of that person that they're not going to sell. But Joe's complete opposite.
Okay, so it's kind of like people want him, they like him, and that's part of his. I guess it's like part of his shtick, right? That he's good at that.
He's very good at that. He'll walk in and take his tie off and just like start laughing with you, and I don't know, even like drink a beer with you and just say, hey, I'm just a down to earth guy. So he's really charming. He's very charismatic in that way.
Okay.
And he carries. Yeah, what I see first about it, he carries a really big smile a lot. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a very wealthy guy. He's got a lot to smile about.
He does. Yeah. But he knows exactly what it is. Yeah, he's a great businessman.
Would you send one of your relatives to an Acadia facility?
Absolutely.
I guess hopefully you wouldn't have to, but yeah.
Yeah. I would even. I have kids, and if my teenage son, got caught up in all that, I definitely would, because I know exactly who to talk to, and just because I have the inside track on the who's who and who's good at what. So.
Right. So if you know the inside track, but if you just sort of spin the dice and you go in blind, maybe to your point on the dispersion.
Correct.
Yeah. The other thing while we still have you is we saw a couple things of immediate jeopardy, and we saw, I think, one instance where we were just Googling the other day, and I think something about maybe referrals being halted. What's the is that all hyperbole, or what's the sort of practical impact of that from a marketing standpoint?
Sure. I'm sorry. Tell me a little bit more about that. Referrals being halted.
Yeah, there was a facility on the East Coast where I think there's a series of adverse events, and so they said that referrals, and I think it rang true with what you're explaining, where area hospitals refer patients to this facility. So this one is, I think it's Ohio Hospital of Psychiatry. And
OPH, yep. I know the CEO of that facility, yep.
Yep. So referrals were halted is what this news report says. What?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. What's sort of what's kind of the lay of the land with a situation like that?
Yeah. So that interesting. There could be some incidents at that facility. Could be leadership at that facility. I don't know what would halt referrals. I mean, that's your revenue lifeblood. What Acadia has mastered is internal referrals, because they make it it's an internal policy that if that patient is not good for your current facility, that patient needs to go to another Acadia facility. Like, we keep that person in-house. That person's not going to even know that it's another Acadia facility, or that patient's not going to even know. So they have, it's an internal referral system to each other within Acadia, and they do an amazing job of that. And
so they can be referred from inpatient to outpatient addiction center, something like that?
Easily, all day.
Yeah.
So,
and they wouldn't. Okay, and they wouldn't know per se that like
they would not, because the names are the names are all completely different. Yep.
That's very smart.
Really,
I think that's like a deliberate strategy.
Oh yeah, it is. It's difficult for them to even come to one of our facilities, but it's the retention behind it, right? And the billing economics of keeping that person for 2-3 months, maybe more, and then going to an outpatient facility and be able to squeeze as much reimbursement out of them.
Well, it's really interesting because that's, this sort of thing at Ohio, we look at the business, and obviously I think we see what you do where, they're very good, very financially savvy at squeezing as much profit as they can out of this business. It seems that, from our research, UHS has got most of the bad press. And stuff like this does not seem to have really made its way onto Acadia's doorstep. And, do you have thoughts on why that is? Is it, what do you think the primary driver of that is?
Yeah, sure. So I think it was late last year that BuzzFeed had a article on referrals and so forth. Yeah, I just don't know. I think UHS
is UHS or at Acadia.
No. That was a UHS BuzzFeed article. If you type in if you go to Google and type in like BuzzFeed UHS investigation.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. And they did. It looked like it was a series of articles that came out.
I personally think somebody's after UHS and they're using BuzzFeed as kind of like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it fake news, but it's kind of like sensationalized.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be like a stock play as well. So, and then BuzzFeed, they're an internet content publisher. So, and then some 20-year-old they're writing these articles. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think if stuff like that came out about Acadia, it would impact Acadia, or like, I don't know?
I think it would impact only UHS, because when it was released last year, everybody in Acadia was like clapping and laughing because they all think of UHS as kind of like the evil empire. A vast majority do, because it's funny, like a lot of former UHS employees would come to Acadia, and then some Acadia employees go to UHS, so it just kind of goes back and forth.
What's the practical difference, do you think, between the two? Is there really much distinction on the behavioral health?
Yeah, so Acadia focuses purely on a behavioral health, addiction, mental health. UHS, they're more diversified. So you'll have your general hospitals, UHS. So the behavioral division is, I think the behavioral division is not as big as Acadia's. Acadia is all behavioral health, whereas UHS services the general hospital population as well.
Do you think they're equally financially savvy on the behavioral side?
Oh, absolutely, because so Acadia got a lot of their, so let's see here. So it's the COO of Acadia, he's a former UHS exec, right? I can't believe Ron Fincher. His name is Ron Fincher. Ron is a former UHS guy, former maybe a CFO, but he came to Acadia. So he brought a lot of that UHS mindset to Acadia. So Acadia, is, in a way, is a little bit of a financial copycat of UHS.
Got it.
And then, with Julie Jacobs' PSI background, it's they're a great match. I think Ron Fincher is an amazing operator of a business too, as well. Ron Fincher's is right hand man. Yeah.
Okay, that's I know that's most of my questioning, James. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I think that very thorough. I mean, I've got through the bulk of what I have as well. Is there, I guess, just generally, you spoke a little bit about your interaction with senior management, and they've got an inner circle. One of the things that we saw is glass door posts, and I know the turnover's high, and obviously it's a big company, but is there anything that bothers